What's up guys, this is Eddie. I'm gonna do a little Q&A before we get to the install video. You guys have had a lot of questions about the oil cooler, so I just kind of wanted to run through some things, kind of our experiences, and just kind of overall what we think of the setup. So first and foremost, thank you so much for your support. This kit was not designed or intended for us to sell. We just got getting asked a bunch of questions about it, and we just ended up deciding this is kind of the route that we wanted to go. So hopefully share this kit with you and you guys will love it just as much as we do. First and foremost, we did not design this kit in a wind tunnel and a vacuum. When we design and we test our products, we put them on our own motorcycles. That's first and foremost. We are riders before we are a business or an establishment. We decide what we want to sell, whether we like it or not, or we would actually run our product. So that's first thing. Second thing is these products are awesome. I've ridden this bike for almost 7,500, 8,000 miles. Just took it to Tennessee. Absolutely performed, no problems whatsoever. So first off, does it improve your cooling? It does. It's still gonna get hot. So as it sits right now, there's no way to get a fan back there without gutting some of the internals on the motorcycle, and that's just not something that we want to do, right? We designed that kit to be an add-on to the existing oil cooler, not to take away or gut anything. It's not a track bike, it's an everyday used motorcycle. There's an amp in there. It has got 4 speakers, front, rear. It's got an entire setup. That bike was designed and used just as an everyday rider, and we feel like gutting the internals to try to get the fan back there and cool it is kind of just defeating the purpose. So we just made it so everyday people like yourselves could enjoy it, and it just looks like a race bike. And if you want to buy it because it looks like a race bike, that's entirely okay. If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it, right? So that's just kind of first and foremost. Improvements, we're seeing about 5 to 10% depending on use. So before, my motor used to get to about 400, 410 to the heads here in Florida. It gets really hot. Right now it'll be about 360, 370, so it does improve the performance. The best is recycling the oil, so at idle temperatures it does a very, very good job of cooling the temperatures back down. So that will say that is kind of the biggest improvements with the kit, and kind of where we see the best results overall. If you want to buy it because it looks like a race bike, that's an absolutely okay reason to buy it. Like I said, I love the kit. I've been running it for a long time. How is it in the rain? Well, it's raining right now and I rode it in, so it does okay. There's some small gaps, just like with our LP6 kit, but like I said, I live in Florida. I ride in the rain quite a bit and I haven't had any issues with it. It comes with everything, so it'll come with your plumbing, the lights, the harness. It's pretty much a plug and play. It's designed to attach to the original oil cooler. It's not supposed to take away from the cooler itself. So just keep that in mind. So if you ever do want to go back to LP6s or kind of whatever you want to go back to, you can do that. All you got to do is put your stock lines back in, and we'll kind of show you how to do all that once we get to the actual install video. Yeah, this is going to be a super easy install, as you'll kind of see. It's pretty much an LP6 install with a little bit of an extra step. You're tying into the head and you're tying into the bottom of the cooler, and that's pretty much about it. Another one we get is how many quarts of oil. So you're adding about 5 quarts total. So we recommend you do a complete oil change when you put this kit in. It's not required by any means, but it's just a good idea. Just drain everything and then install the kit, and then you're gonna put about 5 quarts. Right now I'm running AMS oil in it. It does a good job. I've run the Harley oil. It does a good job. Another question I've gotten is, do you need a oil pump or anything? You absolutely do not. So I had a 21 with a stock oil pump, and I ran it for about 6,000 miles. I recently put an SNS oil pump and cam plate in there. Very, very marginal difference, if any. It's not an upgrade that I would really recommend if you weren't planning on doing it before. I wouldn't do it just because you got the cooler. The lighting was another thing. Is that enough light? So there's about 9,500 lumens up there. It's very, very, very bright, just shy of 1 LP6. I rode it up in Tennessee in the mountains, no problem. I'm sure if you went to the event in the Smokies, you saw it in person, you probably got blinded by it. So it's a good amount of light up there. You don't really have to worry about that. Even if you live in an area, in a rural area or something like that, it will still be plenty of what you kind of need. Does it work with an ultra cool? I get that quite a bit. It should. The ultra cool doesn't use the stock cooler. It ties in somewhere else. So we tie into the stock heads and the bottom of the cooler. As long as those lines are the same, which I believe the ultra cool is, then yeah, you should in theory be able to use it with an ultra cool, even though we haven't tested that out ourselves. Oh, what if a rock hits it? So some of you guys watch some like Indian B movies or something like that, because like some of y'all, like I'm surprised you got on a motorcycle and you ride. Like seriously, like some of the questions you come up with are fucking ridiculous. Like, oh, what if a rock hits this thing? Or like, you act like it's gonna fucking blow oil in your face and cause you to slide, and there's gonna be like a dramatic explosion right after or something like that. Like that oil cooler has taken a bunch of rocks. I live on I-4, right next to it. I ride the interstate pretty much every day. It's got a bunch of rocks, has some chips. I pressure wash it to clean it. Yeah, like if you're scared that a rock is gonna fuck up your life, then yeah, you don't want to buy the oil cooler. I would say you're probably gonna hit by a car before an oil cooler explodes in your face, like honestly. But you know, I guess that is some concern that some people have. Dude, I get asked a lot of dumb shit, dude. No fact, like I get it, it's a concern for you guys, but like some of it is, I'm surprised you get on a motorcycle and ride, seriously, with like some of the questions that we get sometimes. Where does the heat go? I have no fucking idea where the heat goes. I'm gonna be super honest with you. We take the vents out, haven't had any issues, hasn't melted my internals. Almost 8,000 miles on this setup right now. I haven't had any issues whatsoever, haven't had any overheating. My DTS screen works fine, my amp works fine. We haven't tested it in different environments, just Tennessee, I guess. We haven't gone to Arizona or Mars or the sun, or you know, some of these kind of random questions that we have. The biggest takeaway, guys, is we are guys that ride motorcycles that like to do cool things on their bikes, or our idea of cool. Some of you guys might hate it. That's entirely okay. And then people ask enough, and then we just kind of make a kit and get it out there and decide whether you guys want to buy it or not. That's pretty much what we do. So once again, thank you for your support. I really appreciate you guys. See you guys during the install. Obviously, if you have any questions, shoot us a DM or email us or do whatever. We appreciate you guys. What's up, guys? This is our transition. So right now we're gonna pretty much start from fairing off. So fairing the lights off. If you want to know how to do that, we have other videos on how to do those things. The one thing, just watch the video. It'll show you how to take it off. But otherwise, this video is just gonna be too long, and my editor is gonna hate me, and I already have somebody else that hates me, and he's not doing too hot right now, so RIP, homie. So right now we're just gonna start with pretty much fairing off, pods off. The first step is gonna be to take out vents, your front vents. So you need the clearance to get the lights off to the side and to get the oil cooler in there, okay? So we're gonna start pretty much everything off. The harness is already in. If you don't know how to wire the harness, like I said, we do have a video on how to do all that stuff. Super easy, but we're just pretty much starting from there on forward, okay? We did test the lights, by the way, so everything does work. So first thing, we're gonna take the vents off, and then that's it. So for the vents, it's gonna be 4 bolts, 3 bolts. Trace bolts. There's your first Venturino. So I don't know if you can kind of see it here, but you're gonna have a bolt here, a bolt up here, and then you're gonna have an inner bolt, right?
There's one on the side here. This one on the inside, and then there's one all the way back here, which is a pain in the ass to get to.
Okay. So you have 3 bolts here, here, and here. All right, so we're gonna suggest putting the lights on first. So that's what we're gonna do now. The lights are gonna come with a bracket. You just kind of made them together like we do our LP6s. So you just throw them through together. It's gonna come with those bolts as well.
Connect the light and the turn signal.
Connect the light and the turn signal. And the harness over. So once you have your bracket and your lights in, you're gonna be cutting about 1 inch away from the center of the brace of the fairing, okay? You're just cutting the bottom of it. You can't see it once it's back in, but this is gonna let the lines flow a little bit better. So we're just gonna be cutting about 1 inch off to the side right here and just making it kind of flush. So I'll show you how to do that. All right, all we're doing is taking the hose from the oil cooler to the top of the head. All right, guys, now that we have our hole cut in, we're gonna put our lines in through the cooler. We're just gonna feed them through the fairing. So they're all gonna come out through the bottom no matter what. Just whatever kind of setup you have, route them in so they're not in the way. All right, so we're gonna connect the line into the bottom of the stock cooler. We're gonna send you clamps and everything, so you're just gonna clamp it in there. All right, guys, when you're putting these lines in, you really can't be too nice to this. You're gonna have to kind of manhandle the lines and put them in there. It's a good thing about these lines. They're very high quality. They're not going to kink at all. But you're going to have to kind of fit them through there and kind of force them through. Don't be a little bitch. All right, guys, so it's a little bit hard to see, but we're pretty much going from one of the lines straight into the heads, and then just going to tie in right there, clamp it down. So one of the lines is going to go to the head, the other one is going to go to the bottom of the cooler. So right now we're pretty much going to connect the cooler. Keep in mind, and I guess Isaac can show, if you don't want the M visible, all you're going to do is flip the cooler. Isaac, can you flip the cooler? There you go. So if you don't want the M showing, you just want a colored cooler or a black cooler, whatever, all you're going to do is flip the line. We like representing Mishimoto, so we're going to stick the M out right there. All right, guys, so we're just going to connect the lines. You're going to have to manhandle these things. I'm not joking. If you're feeble about it, like, it's not going to work. Shit's going to get in the way. You pretty much just throw her on there, dude. Don't be scared, okay? All right, we're going to connect the second line. So now both lines are in. We're just going to clamp her on down, make sure it's nice and tight, okay? All right, guys, so it's very important that you angle your lines pretty much with the pocket, so your speaker pod right there, pretty much at a straight line. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very difficult to get your fairing back on. That's pretty much the install on how to do the oil cooler. It can be a pain in the dick, so definitely have your buddy help you out or have a professional shop do it. Pretty much it. Your lights are on. You're going to have blinkers, turn signals there, all that good stuff. That's it. It's turn signals always on, and that's it. I hope you guys enjoy it.